Okay. Good evening, everybody. I will call the Newcastle Planning Board meeting on today, October 16th, 2025 to order. The time is 6:29. The second item on the agenda is to review the minutes from both the August 21st Planning Board meeting and the September 18th Planning Board meeting. Do I have a motion on the August 21st meeting? Anybody? Who was here? You were here.
Yes.
Moved and seconded. Thank you.
Who was that? Was that
Michael and
Michael moved and Tyler seconded?
yes.
Cool.
So discussion about the minutes from August, can't speak tonight, August 21st. Do you see anything that you need to change? Good to go? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes from August 21st? Oh, I'm skipping around here.
I'm gonna assume that was 4 in favor.
Who was
He
it?
abstained.
I was not here. I wasn't. And you guys are abstaining? There we go. Thank you very much.
Got it.
All right, do I have a motion on the September 18th? Thank you. Moved by Kevin. Do I have a second?
Mike, you had emailed me about
Yes.
possibly, was there something that was missing?
Well, there was a half an hour long discussion.
Yeah.
On roads.
Yes.
That really wasn't referred to in the minutes. Yeah.
So that's the, I mean, do you want me to add just a sentence that basically like the board discussed, trying to recall, like I know it was about
various classifications of roads and their status and validation with regards to frontage.
Yeah.
Issues such as that.
Okay, so
I didn't listen through the whole entire meeting, but we had a very extensive discussion, as you recall.
Yep.
Cart paths versus versus townways versus which wasn't referred to.
Glad I missed it.
Oh, you had a good one. Oh, man. Wow.
Almost as bad as my one.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give Michael a minute to wordsmith that.
yeah, I'm
Are you
just
gonna do that right on the spot?
Yeah, well, then we can approve it as a number.
big deal. I'm just saying the board discussed road types and classifications. What including, I know we discussed
Cart paths
including, I'm gonna put that in quotes.
versus townways.
Yeah, that was on the heels of the definitions discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, that was definition in your presentation materials. It's somewhat applicable to Shattuck definition too, so.
No,
In some.
we know we have work to do.
Yeah.
So I said the board discussed road types and classifications, including cart paths, as well as rights of way, public and private thoroughfares. That
Sounds good. This one's on the record. It's good.
Any other comments, suggestions, modifications, changes, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes as amended?
now that
Same.
one,
That one, yeah.
who moved that? Kevin moved,
Kevin moved. Second.
Yes.
Mike seconded,
Yeah.
and then I think the same thing was Lucas, Wanda, and Scott were not at the September meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Abstaining. Great.
So then it was 4 in favor,
3 of
no abstain, 3 abstain. Got it. Just want to make sure it's on the record.
Try to do it right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that's great. Moving on, we have no old business. Item 4A, new business, map 3, lot 59. Application for subdivision. So who's here for the subdivision application? Are you all? You're all here for the subdivision application,
Kathleen Shattuck is the applicant,
right?
and then I assume everybody else is here to comment or just view. Yeah.
Great.
The entire road's here.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wonderful. So Kathleen, if you want to take the hot seat, because you're actually doing the lot split, right?
Mhm.
Perfect.
Is this the hot seat?
That's the hot seat. All right. We usually start by just asking the applicant to give us a brief overview of what it is they're trying to accomplish. We've got all the documentation in front of us, but for the cameras and people watching on the internet, if you could just tell us what it is you're looking to do.
Well, I have purchased a a parcel of land on White Road that's approximately 4 acres. And I would like to divide it into 2 parcels, 2 fairly equal parcels, each about 2 acres and each with about 200 feet of frontage on the river.
Okay.
And I would like to build a house on the first lot, beginning this year. It will be a modest 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And perhaps build a second house on the second lot the following year. I've been working since 2018 on buying abandoned homes and converting them into useful family homes. And this past year, I tried building a house from scratch on a nice piece of land on Cochrane Road. And that was a very satisfying project, went very well. Sold very rapidly to a very nice young family. So I was motivated to try to do that again.
Great.
With a brand new construction where I have control and, can design it the way I see fit. And so that's my project.
That's it in a nutshell. Great.
The
So-
second house, if that were to happen, would be the following year.
Great.
2027.
Okay. And just to be clear, tonight is just the application for subdivision. We're not reviewing any buildings or
Yeah,
anything like
that's
that.
right.
There's no structures on
That's
the
right.
land as it exists. It's just,
That's right.
it's a vacant 4-acre lot that we're making into 2 lots.
Yeah, and the reason for that is that to solve the lack of road frontage.
Yeah.
This will create a road that will give both lots the required 250 feet of road frontage, which is a similar process that I went through on Cochrane Road. But when that sold, that actually wound up being sold as a single parcel. But we laid the groundwork for it
There you
being
go.
2 parcels with the help of all the helpful people at the town office.
Great.
So I just like to mention that when Kathleen had first come in to talk with Kara, CEO, and then spoke with me, it was like as we started to kind of kick the tires on this, all of a sudden it kept kind of unraveling into, it's a non-conforming lot. There was already a lot split off of this, and now this is technically going to fall in subdivision. Usually when someone comes in and proposes something like Kathleen's proposing, if someone's got a lot that they own and they want to split it in 2, it doesn't qualify as a subdivision. And so what I can often say to them is like, okay, great, you can split it without going through subdivision. Even if you have to go through subdivision, not a huge deal, not a huge delay, because you can build one house on a lot and then just make sure you leave yourself room to split it. But because it's a non-conforming lot, and we can kind of go through the whole history, it started to be like, oh wait, this is actually going to be a whole thing of, even though you're trying to create one new lot than currently exists, it now has turned into more of a technical challenge than. So I just wanted to kind of give you some context because
That's great.
there's a whole process.
No, that's fantastic. All right, so let's just outline the process we're gonna go through here. Michael has prepared a findings of facts and conclusions of the law based on the town ordinances and the compliance of the application against those ordinances. We'll review that based on what he's already prepared for us and have discussion about the points that he raises and any others that come up. And then once we're done with that, we'll ask for public comments. If anyone wants to comment on the application before we vote, and then we'll go through a lengthy voting process, which I'm going to modify. I'm going to do what we did last time. That took 45 minutes. That was ridiculous.
One thing I did, and it'll come up as we go through here, but I did want to mention that as the administrative process for this, one of the standards is pre-submittal meeting.
Yeah.
And I noted in here that both myself and the CEO have met with the applicant, Kathleen, but obviously you have not had this application before you, so I'm not sure if if it acting on this, I guess it'll, your interpretation of the ordinance, but I don't know if a pre-application meeting technically has happened yet. So,
No. Give me a second. Pull up. Don't have it up. Is required. It's
so yeah, so, and I will admit, I forgot about it until we got probably to maybe a week and a half ago. And but I said, you know, I'll just go forward because we were kind of trying to rush and get something together. But I figured, you know what, I'll just put this in front of the planning board. And then at least falls in your court if you decide, you know, what your findings are. That way it's not being held up because I didn't
Yep. All right. Hold on.
provide you the opportunity there.
Division E, number 2.
Yeah. Okay. So let's deal with this while we're on it. Okay, let's deal with the issue of the priesthood middle meeting on page 81 of the code. And what I'm looking for is anything that says time frame or describes time frames. There's nothing in the purpose and the applicability. I know under subdivision it says it's required.
Yeah, so division requires it with the planning board.
Yes.
Under the pre-submittal language, it doesn't seem like it specifically says it has to be with the planning board, but subdivision does.
So under procedure, the first one isn't us, but the second one, so we're at C2. Pre-submittal meeting with the planning board must be requested in writing to the office of the code enforcement officer, and the office of the code enforcement officer must schedule the meeting for the next regular meeting of the planning board. And 3 applicants and their representatives are required to attend a pre-submittal meeting. That's it. All we have to go. It doesn't say that it has to be. Maybe this is something we need to fix, but it doesn't say that it has to happen the month before the application. And as a matter of fact, the only time it talks about any time restriction or qualification is a pre-submittal meeting with a code enforcement officer should occur at least 3 days prior to formal submission of an application for development review. Which you're saying already happened.
In fact, if those meetings with Kara, which we
numerous times
Um,
within the last 2 weeks.
So applicant did meet with the CEO
And with
at
you.
least more than 3 days ago.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes.
and with me. Or the meetings with me though, I don't think. They don't count.
Does anyone on the board have an opinion or a thought about this?
I was just thinking that the last couple that we've done, we haven't had meetings here. And then it came back the next month. I mean, that's how we deal with the last couple that we've done. Some here it's like a priesthood. We take all of it, review it. Giving feedback that we have that might be correct or not correct, or we need to complete, and then you bring it back. But that's something else we're doing.
No, that's definitely how it's been happening. Doesn't say that that's what we have to do. This is what we. Definitely thought it was very pensive.
I think pretty submittal meeting, I think of it as for the benefit of the applicant to answer questions that they might have. We don't make any decisions at a pre-submittal meeting.
Right.
So. Pre-submittal meeting, that's why it's easy, it's not. But what's the purpose of the pre-submittal meeting? It's for the applicant's benefit. Then. I'm not sure how it's a bit detriment in town to have it be reviewed against something.
Well, they didn't know the point that somebody could, they didn't cross the T somewhere, then they go straight for the application and they don't get it. So there's any discussion.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, right?
Right.
So maybe
Their benefit.
yeah, so maybe the question to Michael is, sorry, planner Michael is. You know, without having this rule on completeness, and you've worked on this. Is the application, are there questions within the application that would. Give you pause to say. This needs more work?
I don't think so. I think that the information's mostly all here. I'll leave it entirely all there up to you all, but. It's not a super complicated application. The plan we've got. We did just get it yesterday, day before. So I think that's here. We can look at it and go through all the standards and the findings.
The plan you've got yesterday, the actual,
The subdivision plan.
so what we have is not what you got?
I said.
Because
no,
we
I
have
said it to you.
digital,
yeah,
we have it digitally.
I shared it with you as soon as I got it, and I think was it yesterday?
It's in the packet.
Yeah.
What did all last week?
I mean,
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I don't
yesterday, and
Was
yeah,
it yesterday?
yeah.
You sent over the digital?
Mhm.
Okay,
No.
so what you,
What did we receive?
A week.
if you're in there,
See, it's something.
that was
Yeah.
that link is hot. So
It's been
when
updated.
I can update stuff that's in there.
Okay.
In fact, I got a comment from a member of the public an hour or two ago.
Yeah,
That should be in there too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
The letter, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I just noticed that today, that was just added.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why it surprised me to see that today, but now I know why.
So what I would
It was
say
the
is,
9th that you sent the original.
we should, I obviously you should go through everything. What I did in the findings of fact is anything that I had highlighted that was yellow or orange, like we need to address this. I just highlighted it green, like it's done, but we can, if you looked at it the day I sent it out. And then you're like, well, what's changed? You'll be able to see what's changed.
Right.
I'm trying to think what.
The original. Packet was.
yeah, and I guess
The original point.
I didn't see that correspondence, you added that correspondence to this.
Of course, but yes,
Big date.
And then,
well, I also printed out copies because I figured when I put it in there. There wasn't any way you were gonna see it before the meeting. But
yeah. All right, I mean, so there's precedent for the way we've done pre-submittal meetings in the past, but the ordinance is agnostic about when we actually form the pre-submittal meeting.
Just to back up, you did look at section 3C2, right, which is very explicit.
There are.
Basically, the new C procedure number 2.
Yep,
Which requires the code enforcement officer. Requesting money.
the question, right, to the office of the code enforcement officer and the officer of the code enforcement officer. The school. Did that happen?
I don't know if it was specifically requested to do a pre-submittal meeting. We've discussed that process. that a pre-submittal meeting is required. I know I mentioned that and said, I don't know how the planning board's gonna
Right.
take that, but we discussed the pre-submittal meeting.
And hope that since we had so many meetings
Yeah.
beforehand and
Yeah.
I've gone over everything so thoroughly that.
Yeah.
Maybe it would suffice, maybe not.
Well, so I mean, the issue is when the code is explicit like this, without the possibility of waiver or I don't think we have an option. If a pre-submittal meeting with the planning board was not requested in writing to the office of the code enforcement officer, I don't think we can hold a pre-submittal meeting or consider it held.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I've usually just scheduled pre-submittal meetings with applicants,
So you're not in the habit of actually requiring.
telling them to like write it down. No, I
So-
tell them like, you have to go have a pre-submittal meeting with the planning board before you can go to the planning board. Which, maybe on me.
All right, well, I think, let's add to the list of stuff, language to clean up to make this procedure more clear as to what needs to happen and timeframes. We need to add timeframes. Make it explicit about whether we require our pre-submittal meeting to happen essentially the month before the review of the application. Or, and this is a point of conversation that we don't need to have right now. I'll ask for a vote in a second. We'll do what the will of the board says. But, or if we can, hold a pre-submittal meeting the same night as the application review. So, yeah. So I'm gonna take a pause. I'm gonna make a motion, to open a discussion. I'm gonna make a motion that we, for the purposes of this application, and not future applications, not setting a precedent. We allow the pre-submittal meeting to requirement to have been met. That's my motion. Do I have a second? Thank you. Okay, let's discuss that real quick.
Let me first say that I have no bias at all.
Yeah.
And I have no will to be obstructionist. I'm new, right? I just read the words.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is what the words say in the code, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, to try to just,
Yeah. Really.
Code is saying it's required
Code is saying it's required.
in a very specific way.
Planner has told us that it hasn't been strictly enforced. Okay.
But it has been, since I've been on the board, every time we've had a subdivision come before us, there's always been, so maybe it hasn't been, but it seems like it always has been since I've been on.
Well, I think there are two different things. One is, yeah, I've always told that, my understanding of this was, that what I told applicants was. Before you go forward with a subdivision and large project plan, you have to have a pre-submittal meeting with the board. And so there's that. That's open practice, that's what we've done. It's not like anybody's been skipping the pre-submittal meetings. What the practice has been that maybe isn't quite in line with what's written here is I haven't required, and Kara has not required this to be in writing when someone wants to have a pre-application meeting. So basically, when I sit down and work with an applicant, it's like, okay, well, before you do this, you need to have a pre-application meeting. It's like, okay, can I do it at the next meeting? Yes, put them on the agenda. So that's the thing, is like, it hasn't been in writing. And then so that's context, and I have a question for you to consider, which is. We have not received in writing. A request for a pre-application meeting yet. So could this be a pre-application meeting, or? Do we basically have to push this off? To like, wait until we have the applicant put in writing to Kara that. It would like a pre-application meeting. and then have a pre-application meeting at the November meeting,
Mhm.
and then have possibly a regular review at the December meeting.
I mean, there's three possibilities here as I see it. One, we can vote to say that the pre-submittal meeting requirement is met. And move forward with a review of the application. Second option would be to say the pre-submittal requirement has not been met, but we can have that meeting right now. And review the application at our next meeting. The third option would be what you just described, which is to say, no, we could do neither tonight. And in fact, have to do the pre-submittal meeting next meeting and the application the following meeting.
Yeah, that's,
What's the virtue of having it in writing?
I don't know that there's virtue necessarily, it's just what it says.
Who cares if it's in writing? Well, the code does, I mean, is that it?
my assumption is actually similar to Kevin's take, which is for the benefit of the applicant, so that the basically, the town can't just keep blowing it up and saying like, well, you never asked for a pre-application meeting, like, yeah, I did, no, you didn't, yeah, I did.
Right.
So if you submit it in writing, there's no question, we've got it.
Yeah.
Now the town has to schedule it, so.
Yeah.
I think it is also for the benefit of the applicant, it doesn't really do anything for the town other than,
So it's an audit trail.
I think.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thoughts? About the three options before us?
I also think that the pre-application meeting allows the public
Mhm.
to have maybe more of a weigh in before a final decision is made, which I
Yeah.
think is important.
Agreed.
Gives them one more month to.
Yeah.
It's, without that, you don't really know what, I mean, obviously we have people here that
Sure.
have opinions about it, so I just think it gives them that opportunity.
My instinct is to have the precinct in the meeting this today.
Today,
And then the other one next month.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Lucas, you seconded my motion. You have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think if we do the pre-submittal meeting tonight, I think that would satisfy the requirements and give time, that 1 month period for public discussion on it and stuff like that, before we actually do the application meeting and make a vote.
Anything else anyone else wants to say about this before we?
That seems to me that, it. Aside from the question of whether this meeting is a pre-submittal meeting because it was requested in writing.
Mhm.
That aside,
Mhm.
like, no, it does, like you said, it gives the public a chance to
Mhm.
say their piece
Mhm.
and not loose on the heels of evaluating.
Okay.
The application.
So just to review, my motion was to consider the pre-submittal requirement met. It was seconded, we've discussed it. So just to be clear, if you want the pre-submittal meeting to happen tonight and the application review to happen next month, vote no. In just a second. If you agree that we can move forward with the application, vote yes. Tonight. Clear? That was a weird way to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Chris,
Kind of
that's
around the
fair.
barn.
It was crystal clear, just like mud.
So henceforth and forevermore, will it be in writing?
I think that's a separate issue that we're gonna ask Michael to craft some language,
Okay.
change the procedure.
Certainly crafted.
Like this,
And clean it up. Yeah, right. Just put that on the list.
Well, yeah, I can easily get applicants to put it in writing and we can go with that. It'll just be a little hoop until we can iron it out.
Okay. All right.
Can I publicly state that I have reservations, but I defer to the experts?
No, you vote the way you want. This is your opportunity.
Okay.
It's democracy. Okay. All in favor of the motion?
we're voting on it tonight.
of reviewing the application tonight, considering the pre-submittal meeting requirement met. That was the motion. All in favor? Seeing none, the motion fails. I'm gonna make another motion just so that we're clear and legal. I would like to make a motion that we hold the pre-submittal meeting for the application tonight, right now. And consider it, that is meeting the requirement. Thank you. Discussion about that. All in favor of that motion? That passes unanimously. Are you sure? All opposed?
All right, I'm.
Vote your conscience. You don't have to go with the
Okay,
crowd.
since it won't slow anything down, really, I mean, if had this written down so explicitly.
Sure.
And then we say to ourselves, well, what we wrote doesn't mean anything.
Sure.
What's the point of anything?
Objection noted.
Okay.
With gratitude.
Okay.
Thank you.
And have some.
right.
Backbone.
All right, no, that's good. All right, are we good?
Yeah, no, it's,
Okay,
I'm good.
all right. So, thank you for giving us a moment to work all that out. A little bit of procedural hoops we had to jump through there. So, you were following all that.
Mhm.
So what we'll do is request that you bring the application, or we'll have the application, if anything we discussed tonight in the pre-submittal meeting that we're about to hold changes any of the details of your application, you'll have that time between now and next planning board meeting in November. I don't know what the date is, to change it, and we'll have it on the agenda to review the application then. We all good, clear?
So we won't be discussing the application at all tonight.
We can absolutely discuss the application tonight. We can't vote on the
I see,
application tonight.
I see.
Correct.
It'd be really helpful if we could discuss the application, so
yes.
that I would know if there was anything
Yes.
that I missed. I don't think I missed
And
anything.
that's exactly what the
precisely what
meeting
this is
was.
about.
But
Yes, that's why we
You
just
just
kind of
don't
went
vote.
through all this, is to
yeah.
provide that opportunity to have the conversation to make sure that the application is as complete as possible.
And to allow the community, people who have interest in it to speak.
Weigh in.
Well, there is a public hearing that I did notice, we noticed, that's letters went to all the abutters. So
Great.
saying that, gonna be tonight.
Yep.
So
Okay,
that might be a little bit weird, but
no, that's fine.
yeah, and
Okay, so we're gonna switch gears, and I'm gonna open the pre-submittal meeting, because I'm changing the agenda now. I'm gonna open the pre-submittal meeting for the application for subdivision. And just so you all are clear, a pre-submittal meeting is an informal. We're not gonna be voting. We're not getting, nothing that we say should be construed as a lawful interpretation. More, it should be construed as helpful advice, because we're not going to be voting on anything tonight. So, and because it's a little bit more informal, just if you want to say something, raise your hand. I'll recognize you and we'll take your comments. Okay, great. So why don't you kick us off?
yeah, let me give you a little context of why this is even a subdivision.
Yeah,
There is a property, if you look at like the current tax map for the town. Map 3 lot 59 is everything that is included in the subdivision plan that we have here. And it looks like it's 4 lots, well, kind of is. So the history of this is, this property was owned by Hanley. Another previous owner. That owner split off and sold a lot to Delray LLC, which is in a butter.
Mhm.
So under state subdivision law, doesn't count as a division.
That was
When
the
you
first
transfer.
split.
As a first split, yes.
and that was enacted in what year?
But that was, I believe,
2023.
2023. The first split was in 2023. Great.
well, I have it as conveyed,
2024.
yeah, September 3rd, 2024.
2024, okay. Just
But-
setting the timeline.
That was to a butter, so it's really just like a lot line move.
Yep.
So
Yep.
doesn't count towards subdivision. Then a piece was gifted to Coastal Rivers,
Okay.
and that is kind of the most southern,
Mhm. That kind of.
yeah, swoop
Yep.
there. That was gifted to Coastal Rivers. That does count as a split. That happened
August,
August 20th, 2025.
Okay, so we're at two splits,
Two splits, only one counts though.
only one counts.
So then the remaining part of this was sold to Kathleen,
Mhm.
the applicant, who came to the town and said, I would like to split this lot. Lot has not been split yet. That's why we're here. So that will result in 3 lots where there used to be just be one
Mhm.
created within 5 years, which subdivision, state subdivision law
Right,
counts that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird because Coastal Rivers already, the split had already happened, so we kind of, it's not really retroactive, but, and I spoke with Coastal Rivers to say, by the way, there's subdivision, basically, you're getting pulled into subdivision review because
Mhm.
another lot is proposed. You probably saw that I spoke with Coastal Rivers, I know the applicant's spoken with Coastal Rivers, they provided a letter saying, we're in support of what's being proposed here, and I explained to them that, in fact, their lot is currently non-conforming. So they're not interested in keeping it. I think they want to sell it, and they want to sell a developable lot. Kathleen wants to have a developable lot, and then B, split it so that it's 2 developable lots. Right now, both Kathleen's, at least in my interpretation and Kara's interpretation, was Kathleen's current lot and Coastal Rivers lot are not developable because neither of them they're both newly created lots and they do not front onto conforming road with enough frontage, which is 250 feet in. So that's kind of where things are. The applicant has put together a subdivision plan that imagine they hope will make 3 conforming lots that are buildable.
Okay,
Yeah, and I guess to accomplish that, create a road here, which you'll see is they extended a 50-foot right of way.
that's I'm looking at the it's called, but it's got the blue lines.
Yes.
Yeah, just the dotted light, aqua,
Yeah.
aqua,
Okay,
the aqua dotted line.
Yeah, it's Gartley and Dorsey. Let's see if there's a date on here. It's October 15th, 2025.
Okay,
So it currently ends right here at this, and then the extension is the actual 2-lot split.
Yes, it ends
At that line.
end of Denray.
Denray.
Yeah,
that's a current road.
That's White's Road ends there.
that 50-foot wide right of way exists there.
But no road.
There is a dirt road. There are some pictures in there's a folder in the packet I shared with you that has photos that were taken yesterday. Kara went out there, so code enforcement officer went out there,
Oh, yeah.
took some pictures.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, there's a folder at the top, folder at the top,
Photos, existing road.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's see,
there's 9 of them.
let's see that. See it. Here.
So
So that's an existing road. And there were no new lots front onto that.
Yep.
So it's not irrelevant, but
Sure.
if a new,
So that goes, like. 1 second, I lost my spot. That ends at the boundary of. Like you were saying,
the
the
Denver.
Denray line,
Denver line.
okay,
Is that where the Jeep stops?
Yeah.
I'm watching the movie. There's movies here. So,
okay. So, Can you tell us a little bit more about the nonconformity, the nature of the nonconformity and the proposed fix?
So,
It just comes down to road frontage, but you said the lot itself was non-conforming only because it didn't have a road frontage. That's what you're saying?
yes,
Right.
yeah, because both have, even for shoreland, both of them currently have enough shoreland frontage. I'm trying to think of what else in the core zoning code. As long as you have enough frontage, that's how we measure lot width,
Mhm.
at least for core zoning. So that's really that's the kind of the only thing there that's
So the proposal is to essentially punch in a 50-foot wide right of way straddling the line between your two lots. Creating a 250-foot of road frontage on both lots, including the curb.
yeah. So it's a 50-foot, the way that I'm looking at it, and you'd probably say another way. There's a 50-foot, the existing 50-foot easement is being extended.
Yeah.
Straddling Coastal Rivers and Kathleen's existing lot.
Yeah.
The line, yeah.
That goes down, so basically that's gonna make Coastal Rivers property conforming and would make Kathleen's current lot conforming.
Mhm.
And then that there's a spur there kind of turns off, and then it extends to provide 250 feet for the two lots that Kathleen would like to create.
Yeah.
And then the reason it's like a little T there is a fire truck turnaround. That's a subdivision that's required. So
Right.
that's in there. And then there's I see a 20-foot wide easement to be conveyed to Shattuck on Coastal Rivers. That's,
Neither here nor there.
yeah, I think essentially, yeah.
That's something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on here, but I don't think it.
So as part of this, I mean, because you're right, this is a little bit like, cart before the horse, chicken and the egg. Coastal Rivers has had that parcel since
2025, since, I mean, just recently.
recently.
Yeah.
Oh, it's August.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And so as part of this approval and a condition of this approval would have to be that the deed for Coastal Rivers parcel is amended to add this right of way language.
And that's why I got that letter from them to say, just to make sure we're all on the same page, but I think that's making sure that happened. Obviously, Kathleen can't really propose to put an easement on someone's property.
Right.
But she's not on.
Right.
So,
But I'm just saying, like, from our perspective, we're talking about a subdivision. So we have to consider all the lots in the subdivision.
yes, that's,
And all the lots have to be in conformity. Even if they're under different ownership.
yeah.
Right.
At least that's the conclusion that I arrived to
Yeah,
here. It's,
yeah.
They all have language in their deeds.
They all have to have the same, yes, right, exactly. So, this is an interesting situation because normally when a subdivision is proposed, it's, single ownership and then the lots are sold off. Right?
yeah.
The subdivision itself gets recorded
Mhm.
at the registry of deeds.
Yeah.
That would be no different. It
Right.
would just be that the parcel already owned by Coastal Rivers is recorded as part of that subdivision.
Yeah. Yes, and that's why, it's on here, and it's hard because it's like, once you sign these
Yeah,
and they get recorded.
Yeah.
Subdivision is there. There's no.
Yeah.
No walking that back, really.
Right.
Just to clarify, prior to that subdivision being recorded, the alterations of the other deeds have to be recorded. Right? Defining right of way.
yes. Yeah, I mean, that right away has to be established for the subdivision to exist.
Yes, right, that's justification, right?
Correct. Yeah, because if it was, if it was just a big piece of land that you were subdividing brand new with no pre-existing lots within it. Whatever you draw has to conform. Those lots are then created, those deeds are created, they're registered, and the subdivision is created. Once those deeds are recorded, and they receive lot numbers, essentially. Now,
Yeah, I mean, this is
Very
what's
specific
gonna get,
order.
that's what's gonna be recorded.
Yeah.
Subdivision.
right, this will be recorded, and then, I mean, any easements and things would be recorded
Right.
along with it, but even if those aren't.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah.
This is the topic we're looking.
No, it's fine. It's just the first time, probably in a long time, that we've had to think about doing a subdivision with a, so it's like a retro.
It's non-single. ownership.
It's non-single
It's
ownership,
non-single ownership.
right? So it's a retroactive amendment to the coastal rivers. And if they're fine with it, they're great with it. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
right.
awesome. That's fine. I just, again, making it clear.
Yeah,
It's not really retroactive, they're filing a new deed.
They are. Well, I mean, they'll amend their deed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or amended, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You got a question? All right.
Yeah.
So what else do we have in the application that we need to think about? Because I mean that as long as the lots will be conforming. There's no buildings being proposed. The road will be extended. And when it is extended, it'll follow the
Yeah,
current
it had to be-
standards in the road driveways and entrances ordinance.
yeah,
But we're not actually doing any of that.
well,
This is privately owned road.
yes,
Road. It's- So,
well, so.
There
and
there is
that-
an easement and
Yes.
a road agreement.
there is
not
already
recorded.
one in place.
Yes, there is one in place that pertains to all of the lots in question.
An association or
No, just a road
just a,
easement and road
I got
agreement.
it.
Goes way back,
Yes, in the
2005.
90s, yeah, I think.
oh, 90s, yeah.
Oh, for the White Road.
Yeah, the White Road.
Got it.
Goes way back.
There, I'm, the way that the way that I'm looking at subdivision. The subdivision rules here is yes, the easement needs to be there, but the road's gonna need to be built. And it's gonna have to be built in conformity with the road driveways and entrance ordinance, which is gonna be a 22-foot clear, I think it's at least 12-foot wide road.
Yep.
So that, it's not just the easement. I mean, the easement could be on here, but then there's also,
Right.
you're gonna have to build the road.
Sure. Which actually, looking at the photos, Kara took these photos,
Yes.
and I'd be very surprised if the current road doesn't already meet that.
It's probably not 22, I mean, we can go to measure, but it's probably not 22 feet.
I guess there's some
22
areas.
feet
where
clear,
there's some
but
very-
It's probably spot.
so.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
so this is a question that. So what I'm talking about in terms of building the road is within the subdivision.
Yeah.
That's, I think it's pretty clear you have to do that.
Yep.
The question, I think what is bringing some of the neighbors out is.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the road?
Yeah,
For
right.
sure.
Yeah.
So it's, it's existing. It's an
Yes,
Existing road.
yes.
Does this subdivision have to build that road?
You mean, make it compliant?
Yeah, right. I mean, I would, usually it's like anything that's existing, it's at least at the time of adoption of the ordinance, like that's a legally existing nonconformity. But so I don't think there's a specific standard here that says, yes, you have to improve, a road off of your site. However, I can imagine a situation where someone buys a piece of property at the end of a long.
Yeah, this has
Road.
happened in Newcastle before. Both Timber Lane and Stonebridge Circle.
Other towns.
Yeah, absolutely, right. Those developments were built and then later those roads were extended to create new lots.
Right.
That became part of the subdivision. And I mean, at first blush, I think. If you have a legal nonconformity, you're allowed to keep it. Anything you build that's new, it has to be complied
You got, yeah.
from the date.
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess the only real standard that I think would be kind of relevant is like a general, like, is this, you know, is it safe? Is if this subdivision gets built out, yeah, this is not a major, you know, 30 lot subdivision, but 3 lots, just say 3 houses. You know, at a certain point, it's like, well, when I guess this would be a judgment call for the board, is like, if that gets built out, does it create unsafe conditions?
I don't know that it's
And it's maybe, and I'm not specifically for this application, I think is maybe probably better if we don't talk specifically about that.
Yeah.
But just like
In general.
Like in general.
Yeah.
Like in general, you gotta think about cars going both ways,
Right.
you know, and width of the road, telephone pole placement that's already there now.
Right.
So, it's there.
Can I just ask a very simple question
Yeah.
to clarify? So what you're saying is if they extend this road, then it has to be established that White Road completely conforms to the road's driveway.
That's what we're discussing.
Well, that's the
The
question.
entire
That's the
road.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's the question. Yeah,
That is the question.
that is the
Yeah.
question.
So.
We know whatever is in
How
the
long is it
subdivision.
now? How long is the road now?
How long is it?
Up almost 900 feet from
Currently 900 feet to
from
the
where
edge
the
here.
White Road extension begins to the shore is about
Oh.
800 and.
You're talking about the entire road length.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Right
about
now,
Yeah.
right now, today.
Hmm?
Right now.
From River Road
Road down.
Oh,
to the
To
subdivision.
where,
Oh,
I
to
don't
where,
see that
to
right
where
now.
the road ends.
It's long.
See, I'm just gonna measure that off.
Exact measurement, but it is long.
Is it long and thin? Yes.
I've got pictures that show width, if you guys wanted to view them.
Yeah, well, that's what those pictures are, is of the existing road, so that's I've got, it's probably like 1,500 feet to
I
the
was gonna
subdivision,
say a quarter mile, maybe, yeah.
so that's, right about that.
Mhm.
Now, another thing is, I would say length is part of it, but how many other residents are on, residences, you know, how many units are on the road? Is it 4 or is it
Two
2?
homes.
2 homes, and then,
Well, no, we have the main house, the carriage house, and the house up by the road, so.
so you've got 3.
Yeah.
But and that,
That feed off of White Road.
yeah, okay, so that's 3.
I think that,
But we also have access off of River Road, so we have multiple access.
Okay.
yeah. I mean. I'm not sure that the unit count necessarily matters, especially since it's gonna become a subdivision road. The question is just. The roads drive, I'm thinking too fast here. The roads, driveways and entrances ordinance it doesn't have any guidance on how to treat pre-existing non-conforming roads that then become subdivision roads. Yeah, but I would think that the standard non-conformity applies. Which would mean that. The section, this is my interpretation, the section of road that exists currently. Could continue to exist. As a legal nonconformity. The extension would have to be conforming. And if any improvement was made, not maintenance. But if any improvement was made to the
Existing road.
existing non-conforming road. That whole part of it would have to be brought up to conformity.
The 250-foot part of it.
No,
No, the part that's there now.
Well,
White Road and it's in.
White Road.
would it have to be
Oh, White Road.
improved to 100% conformity, or just not become more non-conforming? I'm using kind of the analogies of
Well,
when you have a you know, a building that's too close to the road, you can't. If you wanna move the building back, you can move it back 10 feet, even if you're.
I hear you. I got a silly example. So, you know, you got an old house. And plumber got to upgrade some pipes, comes down, he's like, well, dude, I can't touch this unless I have to bring it all up to code. To the new standard. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, I kind of lean that way.
It would make sense that you bring
Seeing
Just this-
Well, trucks,
this small portion,
Okay.
this new portion up to existing code level.
Yeah.
But before you got there, it's not.
Right, no, I,
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
right, think about a well truck to drill a well.
Yeah, but the only guidance, literally the only piece of guidance that we have about this is, hold on a second, let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, in the roads, driveways and entrances ordinance, under 2D. I just saw it,
Well, page,
it's on page 7, item 4. This is the only piece of the guidance that we have. It's item 4, it says, public and private roads shall provide and maintain adequate access for emergency vehicles, including fire apparatus, ambulance, and police. That doesn't tell us anything about width, you know, shoulder,
yes.
grade.
So that is, I kind of look at this almost as two things, at least with the existing road. One is, does it have to be conforming in order for the board to approve a subdivision? I'm not sure it does. However, I do think that it does have to be safe and functional for, you know, it's kind of a more broad nebulous standard, but
Yeah.
because the board shouldn't be approving something that's creating dangerous conditions, but it doesn't necessarily have to be conforming. Like, there's not like that hard line standard.
Yeah.
That's at least how I've kind of my
Yeah,
read of it.
Well, and could you interpret adequate access's definition as being this road and driveway standards for a private road, which are very explicitly listed in 3A? All of the stats are right there, right?
In the table?
Yeah. Does adequate access mean that? By definition. That's an interpretation.
I think it's one interpretation, but I don't think it's, I don't, and I'll tell you why. The standards vary. If there was a minimum standard for what we would consider safe for provide and maintain adequate access for emergency vehicles, including fire apparatus, ambulance, and police, if there was a minimum standard, it'd be listed under driveway.
Okay. Well, it's all road and driveway standards, right?
Yes, but there's nothing under standards for driveway.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't think that
That's true.
because the standards between a private road and a public road differ. There's nothing that says one is more appropriate for emergency vehicles and one is less appropriate for emergency vehicles. At least in my interpretation, and maybe that's a shortcoming of the. There are a lot of shortcomings of the roads. We gotta fix it.
But I'm not even sure that would address the kind of two levels there of conforming versus safe.
Right.
But safe is also, there's gradation within that as well. I mean, you could say. Yeah, I would imagine there's different ranges for safe.
So what criteria do you use for safe?
Oh, I think that's part of the.
Does the state have criteria?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I think that
What
is.
can an ambulance get done there?
Well, you know how we could handle this? We could have the fire chief. Review it. And give us a report.
And that's in the findings of fact, I just sent this off to road commissioner, fire.
That's part of it.
I didn't send it to GSB because
There's
no sewer, there's nothing for them to.
Nothing out there.
And it's gonna go to life safety, so.
So if we had that information
Yeah,
and
that
the
would be
fire
helpful.
chief signed off on it, that's gonna be the biggest piece of safety apparatus once you get down there. If the fire chief is okay with it, then
So, hand up.
that's ours. Yes, oh, sorry, I didn't see you. Yes, go right ahead.
Well, my name's Richard Newell, my wife and I, Deborah, we're the first house on White Road.
Okay.
We've been there for 48 years now. The road that you're discussing was originally built when the River Road was rebuilt, because they hauled all of the gravel up from where she wants to put her subdivision in. To rebuild all of that road, and we've used that road ever since. And as a matter of fact, that little aqua line that you're talking about on there is our right of way down to the shore where we can go park cars during the daytime if we want to.
Okay.
The road will accommodate, I can tell you from personal experience that it can accommodate emergency vehicles, because we had 2 fire trucks down in there to take care of a chimney fire that we had. If you were to look at that road and decide that it needed to be widened in some way, shape, or fashion, as you drive down in on the left-hand side, it falls off into a gully. A boat is described as a hole in the ocean through which you would pour all your money.
Yeah.
And that's what it would be to widen that road within the constraints of the right of way down through there. And we own the top section of the road. The road passes over our 2 lots that are up there.
Okay.
And then we have a right of way from their point down to the shore.
Okay.
So so
I think it highlights kind of why this becomes a little bit of a weird thing, and why I'm not sure the board can really say yes or no, this proposal can happen, not this proposal, but any proposal. Because what's there is A, it's not on the applicant's property, and B, whoever owns it, whether it's a group of people, it doesn't matter, but whoever owns it, like, maybe isn't part of this application. And the planning board can't say to them, can't say, you have to build this.
Right.
The planning board can't tell people to do it. You can tell people they're not allowed to do something unless they do a thing. You can't tell them, like, expand the road.
Yeah, especially since your lot is not part of the subdivision, will not be part of the subdivision.
Right.
But will be adversely affected by it.
Well, and that's where the board would have to make a decision, like, well, is it unsafe, right? Is it unsafe so that to the point where the board would say, no, you can't have a subdivision, you can't build the subdivision.
It would be a requirement. I mean, in that situation, it would be the person seeking the subdivision that will pick up the cost of widening the road. That would be a condition of granting the subdivision.
It could be, yeah.
It could be. I'll tell you, right now, there is, right above what I read previously, item 3 on page 7 of the roads, driveways, and entrances. So it's D3. This is all it says in regards to that. Point, all newly constructed roads shall remain private, be maintained by the developer or abutting lot owners. Roads shall not be accepted or maintained by the town until they meet the public road construction standards of this ordinance at the time of the request to become a municipal road. The cost of such improvements shall not be borne by the town. No road shall be accepted as a municipal road or maintained by the town without a formal vote to accept the road at annual town meeting. So from an ordinance perspective, that's all we have to go on. Who pays for what? If it's not the town, it's up to the property owners. It's not up to us.
Yeah,
We can't place a condition on an application that forces anyone to pay anything, as far as I know.
no, I think there's a little bit of a decision tree that the board would have to go through, and that's like, okay, is the access safe? Yes, then, go
Move on.
If it's no, then it's reject the application, basically. But there is kind of it's not really implied, but another fork there, which is, well, if the developer were to get the rights to improve that road, bring it up to a level that is safe, and it may be that just bring it safe, or maybe bring it up to the whatever the standards are.
Yeah.
Make it conforming. Then and basically agreed to that and said, yes, I will do this.
Yeah.
Then I think the planning board can say, okay, well, if you're going to remove that unsafe condition, then we can approve your
With that
subdivision,
as a condition.
right?
Absolutely.
So that's
Yeah.
like the thing, like the planning board can't really tell someone you have to do this. They can just kind of say, well, if you don't do this, you can't
can't do that
get what
other
you want.
Yeah.
So it's,
So I think, you know, again, we're not voting or anything like that, but my inclination would be to say, we've got a month. Let's get a review from the fire chief.
Mhm.
And include that as part of the application in November. And then we'll be able to make educated decision.
yeah,
Right now, we don't have enough information.
yeah.
And just speaking on the emergency vehicle side of it.
Yeah.
I think it was last winter with that chimney fire. I took truck 6, our largest engine, down there. As far as getting a truck down in there,
Yep.
there's not an issue.
Yep.
Getting turned around currently.
Is an issue.
I think we ended up having to go through someone else's property, go up their driveway up on River Road, because they just wasn't room to turn around.
Yeah.
But with a hammerhead turnaround at the end, that would solve
Remove that problem.
So we wouldn't have to use someone else's driveway
There you
to
go.
get turned around. But as far as getting a truck in currently, there's no issues.
Right.
But
Well, so.
I would still leave it to the fire chief to make the decision on
Sure.
that, but from personal experience.
Just give.
Personal experience of driving a fire truck.
Yeah.
Of driving. Yes.
Anyway,
Down White Road.
An exit of White Road onto River Road.
Yeah.
or Off of River Road
Yeah.
is extremely dangerous. It's right at the end of the guardrail, you can't see, and it's right in the middle of the only passing stretch on River Road in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And they fly.
Yep.
So
Wow, it's kind of fun to pull out of there and see 2 cars coming at you really passing.
Yeah, right. Oh, absolutely.
or to make the left turn in and
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I also have something, if I could, please.
yeah, let me just comment real quick
Go ahead.
on what you said. So if the fire chief determines that the addition of the hammerhead, like you said, is safe, or getting emergency vehicle down there and everything like that. And we determine that the currently existing portion of White Road is a pre-existing non-conforming and therefore does not have to be brought up to subdivision standards. It kind of is what it is, and will continue to be what it is until the road is improved. But it is also the reason that we have new standards in the roads, driveways, and entrance ordinance, so that the creation of new roads off of public roads don't create hazards like that.
The road commissioner also was forwarded this application and they
That's
could speak to
Yeah, both, right?
like this, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It may be that it is not safe and it is an existing non-conformity and that, you know, we'll see.
We'll get a report. Sorry, go right ahead.
Lee Moore, I'm an abutting landowner as well. And me and my wife have lived there for over 14 years. And in that time frame, with just the few residents that we have, if another vehicle does come down the road, you're backing up the entire road.
The whole way.
So to add the extra vehicles would cause concern to me on the road. And I just think that's something the road commissioner and should look into.
Never back out on the river road.
And I have to, and it's scary.
So within the 50-foot right away, if the travel lane of the existing road is too narrow for 2 cars to pass, but there exists more width within the right of way, maybe not down the embankment like you were saying.
it's wetland.
But if there's other areas, I mean, we all know that there's plenty of these little roads around, private roads around that have dippy-doos.
Yeah.
Little pullovers. You're driving down the road, someone's coming at you and you do a dippy-doo. So. And we don't have any standards about that, but it may be something that's recommended by either the road commissioner or the fire chief.
And that's, yeah, well, and I think that's the. It may not be conforming, but that's where the safety, I think it's a much lower standard, it is standard, like you still have to be safe.
Right.
And I don't mean to make light of, but it's a safety, not like an inconvenience thing, right? And we could pick any other, you know, level there, but I think it's a pretty low standard.
Yeah.
It just is the safety aspect of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw one more thing out there, and it has, I have no idea. With coastal rivers owning now that side of the property, I have no idea how many of their patrons are gonna wanna drive down in there. That's, I just don't know.
My understanding is that they aren't gonna keep it for conservation or recreation, they're gonna sell
Okay.
So that's gonna be more people, they're gonna subdivide.
it. Yeah. I don't know if they'll be able to. Just it, I guess.
Once it's already in subdivision, then
Well, once it's in subdivision, yeah, you would
you
have to
subdivide.
amend the
more?
subdivision. Well, they'd have to make conforming lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never could be more than one.
Good.
You might be able to get two out of it, but
A lot of it's in setback and it's in
Right,
shoreline,
yeah.
so there's gonna be a lot of.
Yeah, you can see the building envelope on the survey. It's
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
barely enough for one house.
what's that?
Wet.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
lot has
yeah.
more
It's their problem.
issues that subdivision review.
Yeah.
Is gonna flag.
Shoreline.
Yeah, it's there's parts of it that are lower lying. I don't know if any of it's in the flood zone, but I think that's where all the quarries were, so it's also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's wet now in the drought we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow,
Yeah,
that's saying something.
That tells you something, right, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
is saying something.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've beat up the road issue considerably. We're gonna wait to hear back from the road commissioner and from the fire chief,
And the life safety officer.
the life safety officer, and so we'll have more information for the review. So this is good. I'm glad we're doing this. That's great.
I asked them to get me comments, I think by November 3rd.
Okay.
So if I don't hear anything,
Great.
I don't hear it, but
What other issues do we have or potential issues that we can identify about the application?
as far as like the design and things like that, I don't think anything. Unless anybody else has an issue that they see. Yeah, that's.
No, I don't see anything. I mean, in
Comment.
yeah, was, sorry, yes, go ahead.
I had a question on your ordinances. It says that any road that exceeds 150 feet. It sparks a hammerhead to be. Right, so when you extend White Road. It is technically a dead end anyway, so that would spark one hammerhead. And her proposed road to split her two lots
200.
would cause another hammerhead, correct?
That's a good question.
Because
The road commission.
extending White Road from its existing point to give them conforming lots. Would be more than 150 feet. So that would spark a dead end hammerhead to be built. Which would then impede on. Mostly Coastal Rivers property. Which would take away from their property, correct?
That's so what I wanted to look at, because I understand what you're saying, is if the language basically says. Roads that are over 250 feet have to have a hammerhead.
150.
150, sorry, yeah. Have to have a hammerhead. Does it say that? At the end of anything.
It says if it's a dead end in the code, it says.
Yeah, right,
It says right here, new road construction, which this would be new road off of White Road, correct?
Well,
it being a dead end,
That's a
would
great
would
question.
have to have a hammerhead. That's section 5-A.
Yeah, dead end roads that exceed 150 feet in length. Shall construct and maintain a hammerhead style turnaround at the end of the road.
So she's proposing two roads, one to conform the lots and then the other one to split her two properties equally.
Yeah, well,
So that-
right.
And they both exceeded 150, correct?
Okay,
Well,
so,
yeah,
yeah, this goes to definitions. And, you know, we can get an opinion from the road commissioner, but what I'll say is this. Unless the proposal is to create a newly named road off of White Road. This is all White Road.
Right, but it's extending it the 150 mark threshold.
And that's,
I think to your point, the hammerhead maybe should be at the end of what's kind of the driveway right now, not maybe where it is. I had looked at that and said, does that hammerhead have to be at the end of the road? But
It's stated any new
Says-
construction, correct?
well, it's no, I mean, it says at the end of the road. Where did I keep putting this away here? It says dead end roads that exceed 150 feet in length shall construct and maintain a hammerhead style turnaround at the end of the roadway.
so the question is, if it's all considered white road
Right.
or not? Because if it's all considered white road, then the hammerhead that's being proposed would be considered the end of white road.
What about that little driveway off of the end?
That's part of white road.
Then it's not, is it the end then?
That's what I'm saying, that we need an interpretation.
Okay.
Regardless, it's two ends.
Well,
It's a dead end,
you
both
could-
ways.
You could, if you got rid of that hammerhead and just move that little back out further to like where White Road really ends, so that's just a turn. And now the hammerhead's all the way at the end. Then you've got a hammerhead at the end of a road that is longer than 150 feet.
But then she's constructing another 150-foot road into her property to conform the two lots. Well,
That's what I'm saying, the
separate
end of
two
it,
lots.
that's where I'm saying the hammerhead would be, so you get rid of that little spur at the.
So at the dead end, there would not be a hammerhead, because White Road would end after
It would, yeah, it would
her
end,
driveway.
right, it would go. The road, White Road would extend along coastal rivers and the existing lot, and then turn off, so it's not touching coastal rivers anymore. Go into Kathleen's Road, another big hammerhead there, so it's just one hammerhead at the end of White Road, which terminates kind of halfway, into your property. So there would only be one. That would just be a turn rather than.
So
like
the
a-
extension of the road, which would be 500 feet, because each of her lots need 250
Well, they would
to
be,
come to code.
it would be 250 feet, because you got two sides of the road, so it'd be. 250 on one side, 250 on the
Right,
other.
but there are two lots in, but the existing Woods Road, so she would need
Oh,
White Road to extend 500 feet.
yeah,
to
it's
clear
all
the
about that,
250 boundary,
yeah, but you don't need a hammerhead every 150 feet. You just need
one,
one.
Correct.
Yeah,
but then her driveway in the middle of her two lots is
that would be part of,
exceeding,
White Road.
okay. Right, I guess so they're both White Road.
Well, there would only be one.
Forks, are both sides White Road?
No, it wouldn't, that's what I'm saying, it wouldn't fork, that fork, you get rid of that
Oh,
fork.
alright.
So instead of forking there, it would just turn. Yeah,
But there's an existing Woods Road.
There,
that goes
yeah.
down.
oh, well, yeah, that would be, I think, a definition of road, there's an easement there, and you can drive on it.
Yep.
But okay, I see, if you're thinking that's another road, which I was not, because it's a 30-foot easement and. Fire trucks aren't going down
All
there.
the same road.
That's what I'm saying, it's
Well,
how
eventually
you
a fire truck
consider it.
will,
Yes.
right,
What's that?
because coastal rivers will end up selling that property, so a fire truck will need to continue on down.
I think
Well. What? I mean, the requirement is that a lot has 250 feet of frontage. And basically, it's not that you can get a fire truck anywhere on the property, it would be that you can get a fire truck to the property. And that would be so the fact that lot has 250 feet, if they wanted to create a second lot down there, which I'm not sure they could do, but just say they could, for argument's sake. They would have to, that other lot would have to end up with 250 feet of road frontage, so they'd have to basically build a road down there, and they would have to build another hammerhead. I would think,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have to make it conforming.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that between the road commissioner and the fire chief, they might say a variety of things. It's kind of useless for us to speculate on this, there's options for how to make it conforming. We're gonna wait to hear from them. I think that's the best course of action.
Yeah.
And then that can be incorporated into the application. And we can review it at that time. Sitting here, I'm neither the road commissioner nor the fire chief, and I can't speak for them. So. But, I can see three different possibilities of ways to address that issue. So that we've got proper turnaround, we've got the right of way, we've got the road frontage, blah, blah, blah. So,
Is the application contingent on the other properties amending their deeds?
will be,
You mean coastal rivers amending it?
yeah, it will be. Yeah, because it can't actually be filed as a subdivision until their deed is updated. Okay, great point. Now have we killed the road? Think we've killed the road? I think that's all the road is. I wish we had better guidance in the roads, driveways, entrances, and sort of. So. But that needs to go up for major revision.
Yeah, well, we talked about that at the
Yeah.
select board meeting and.
Just for clarity though, once it's decided how that needs to be laid out, then the deeds have to be amended, and only then can we approve the 10 subdivision, right?
No. We can approve the subdivision pending those
Okay.
as a condition of.
Yeah,
It
well,
can be conditions.
of course.
in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay, just wanna.
Yeah.
I mean, we need the language. So,
Yep, okay.
and the condition would be that language gets filed with the subdivision.
Right,
Okay.
and then, yeah,
Yep.
we don't have to make them keep coming back every time. Yeah. Okay, great, good, think. Let me find out where, I got like 8 tabs open, it's ridiculous.
I have one other just procedural thing.
Yeah.
We noticed a public hearing tonight. We're obviously not. Reviewing the application officially. It's a pre-application meeting. So are we going to, I don't know, table the public hearing until the next meeting?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, all applications are reviewed as a public hearing.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, so just because it was noticed tonight, so I just wanna say, I'm not gonna do it tonight. We're gonna carry it to the next meeting,
It'll absolutely be part of, that's right.
Yeah. that's like just.
So does that require a certain public notice to do it?
I'll check, I think that because if it was noticed appropriately today. That we can say we're not going to we don't need to keep. Noticing it, we can say we're gonna be in the next meeting.
I would notice it.
That's probably,
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Review the noticing requirement rules of
Well-
our administration, just to make sure. Cause I know that does have timeframes built in.
yes, well, and,
So,
yeah,
And it might only,
You
it's
might
like
know
14
the
days
correct
and
date,
this and
yeah.
that, so
I'll take a look.
that's fine. We don't have to do it right now.
Do the letters have to go up yet?
Potentially. That's, or either the letters need to go out or notices needs to be put in the
The
paper.
paper, yeah, I put it in the paper, well, we'll look at it. We'll get it.
Okay,
Because this says obviously that we held it tonight and we really did, so.
Right. okay, so we've cleared up the pre-submittal thing. We're waiting. We've identified some road issues. We need reports for that. Are there any other points of clarity that we can provide for the proposed subdivision application? Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if there are points of clarity, but. On the procedural stuff. First of all, I'm Ray Fitch.
Mhm.
I'm the Denray abutter.
Yep.
We've had family property, we've been there since 1947.
Great.
Obviously care a lot about what's going on.
Yeah.
So. I am a lawyer, but I'm not this is my first time involved in something like this, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Cool.
To be here, and I want to say that Kathleen has been very forthcoming with me about her plans, so I appreciate that. On the procedural side of things, I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point because you're not making a decision
Tonight, correct.
tonight.
Yeah.
But when the final plan only becomes available on the same day that the decision is being made, it's really not giving anybody notice. So I think that's a problem. And the notice itself that went out referenced the fact that all the materials are gonna be available on the Newcastle town site. They were not. I reached out to Michael. And he got back to me. This was a couple of days later. And he did give me the link to all the materials.
Hmm.
That's another issue on the notice side. So if the public's gonna have any input on this, they've gotta know what's going on.
Sure.
And kudos to the loan dissenter because the details are hugely important, because if you don't follow them and you know this, you just create an opening for whatever you do to be challenged.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter whether it's small or big, if the procedures aren't followed, whatever you decide has a good chance of getting set aside. So that's just my procedural deal.
Sure.
So I don't know if I'll be here in November, but I would like to know all the updated materials way before the day that the hearing is gonna happen.
I'm checking just to see what we require. In terms of. Where is that?
I don't think that the ordinance says anything like with, we amend ordinances, it's like when you put the public hearing. Or, yeah, when you schedule a public hearing, then all the materials have to be available 30 days in advance or whatever it is. Or when the public hearing gives notice. I don't know if we have anything that says that, but it probably would make sense. I mean, it makes sense, but it would be good to define.
Yeah, because that's, and I'm not talking about this situation. That's one of those ones where somebody could slip something right under the door and no one would ever have a chance to take a look at it,
Yeah,
you know?
the one hard thing is when applicants bring things to a meeting, oh, we've got an updated plan here and we want to submit this. I guess it would maybe, I've seen it, planning boards kind of have discretion to say, like, we're not accepting that submission now, or we can accept that, but now we're gonna delay this a month or something like that. So
7 days.
for the notice.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's under mail notice.
Yeah.
Applicant must develop notice containing pertinent information about the project, including application type, project location, description, and if applicable, time, date, location of first scheduled meeting of the permitting authority, contact information for the town of Newcastle. Notices must be mailed within 7 business days of submission of an application.
So that I would think we should probably fix so that the notice is at least 7 days before the meeting, and probably more than that, rather than just within 7 days of submission. But
Well, and there needs to be the relevant materials or changes.
Yeah.
That have been made so that the person gets the notice, they get to see what the notice is about.
So
well, and that's all of that information.
All right.
That Ben just mentioned, that did go out. That was, I mean, all of those boxes are checked. I've got the certified mail receipts here, and I included, I think, the language that.
Yeah, those letters went out, I think, 8 or 9 days.
Yeah.
before.
So we also have some planning board policy about this stuff. I'm trying to find that document. I don't have it at my fingertips on this one, sorry.
In the administration, yes.
It's not in the ordinance, it's a policy. Yeah. And I don't have it. I have it right here. Well, good point.
Okay,
And thank you.
all right, you're welcome. I got one other
Yeah.
point too. So in reviewing the draft findings and conclusions, I think it's little u, land subject to liquidation harvesting. The conclusion there is the lot addressed under this application remains forested and undeveloped. Totally untrue. It's completely clear cut. And because of that, I don't have enough information to know whether this liquidation harvesting statute has been complied with or not, but it seems to me that that's something that's got to be looked into.
I'm sorry, what page are the conclusions of?
8.
Thank you.
So.
This was by the previous owner, not by me.
Yeah, you're right. Right, so, well, because it's. Yeah, the current owners have only owned the property for approximately 1 year, so if you had owned, I think the way that I'm reading that is
The current owner?
you. Well, you and Coastal Rivers, but
Yes, I've only owned it for 1 month.
1 month, okay. And I guess maybe because Coastal Rivers owned it for,
Less than
A
a month.
year?
Yeah, they've owned it for about a year. I've owned it for less than a month.
but it says the board must determine that prior to granting approval for subdivision, that 5 years have elapsed from the date the landowner under whose ownership harvest occurred acquired the parcel. Oh,
He
okay, actually
acquired the
that,
parcel in
oh,
twenty
yeah,
twenty-three,
for a while,
spring of 2023. So he owned it for a
yeah.
little over 2 years.
Yeah, that's, I mean.
And I had an
that's-
issue when it was being clear cut anyway, I was told that you can do that, so apparently there are some limitations on that. On what can be done.
Yeah.
And it is included in this whole subdivision process, so I have no idea. What the statute requires in terms of or what's permissible. To the degree whether the degree of clear cutting was permissible or not, that's the question. And if it wasn't, what effect does that have on this subdivision request? So that's an issue. I think that needs to be looked at.
Well. If it was,
Oh, so this is actually, I mean. Yeah, sorry, Michael, go ahead.
I was like, if the property was. Harvested in violation of rules. As long as the owner as long as the owner that did that. Owned the property for more than 5 or bought it more than 5 years ago. Then. Well, how long has Hanley owned it?
A little over 2 years.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we do need to find out whether or not
Just gotta figure out if
he
you,
harvested it in violation.
you got a permit.
If you
Yeah,
drive
it's-
down
yeah,
Wood
it's-
Road, White Road, and look at the tree cover
Forester.
on us, on Stephen Lee, on Ray. That's what it was. Now, it's
Wide open.
it's a wheat field.
Which leads,
That's
So,
all
okay.
planted.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can attest to that because I have over 12 trees on my front lawn that fell down due to. There's no wind block anymore.
Hmm.
And my chimney actually downdrafts into my basement constantly on certain wind directions. And I had a actual guy that does chimneys for a living come down, and he said he's only seen that one at a time. And it was because a maple tree was cut down next to the house and caused a change in the draft.
Hmm.
But yeah, we went through 3 satellite dishes. DirecTV wouldn't put another one up because we just kept losing them.
Was he challenged at all?
He was not, and that's why I'm watching this one very closely because I can't take any more.
He
You know,
not only
supplies
clear
every
cut
day.
it, he filled in the sides, he filled in the gravel pit.
Yeah, with the
Right.
gravel pit.
It was a gravel pit and a lot of
Yeah.
the stumps that were harvested, I watched go back into her property and then covered over. So within 5 years, we might be looking at some erosion issues, settling. Stuff like that. The center of her property actually was a wetlands, cat and nine tails that got ripped up. Not once, but twice, which I can show you in videos.
When was all this?
Yeah, you should have record of
1
it.
year
I
ago?
imagine Mark must have gotten some kind of permit
So he
to
had,
rip up.
said he had all the permitted that he needed.
well,
That's what he said.
Yeah.
This is in 2022.
tree harvesting in the shoreland is one thing, but tree harvesting out of the shoreland is something the state deals with, like town doesn't administer it, but that doesn't mean that there aren't regulations and things. It's just that Like, we're not, the town's not the ones that says you are or aren't doing it right.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened, because I did ask about it, and I asked the town, and the town said, yeah, if it's beyond the shoreline. You can cut trees down, but they weren't specific about this other statute or weren't aware of it or something.
Yeah,
So there are two different things going on here. It's what the town says you can do, and it's what the state says you can do.
right.
And we're also dealing with what the state says you can do right here. And I think
Yeah.
he may have violated those regs. So
That's
This was substantial. It was a 6-wheeled skidder that came in with a grapple and all day long,
well,
in and out. Just
tree harvesting is something that's pretty well protected by the state. Like, you're allowed to harvest trees, and it can be pretty substantial. You're supposed to have, my understanding is, like a harvesting plan. So I think, so I don't know.
there are no trees.
Yeah.
That was
the percentage of trees.
And that's, I don't,
The stumps didn't, a lot of them went.
All right.
Didn't fill.
Shoreline, direct shoreline zoning is.
That's a great question.
They,
Obviously, we don't have any information about that, so, I think we should.
And can I just,
Kendrick.
sorry, this is my last thing.
All right.
And it sort of piggybacks on that, and it deals with findings of fact J, the aesthetics. It assumes, the aesthetics assumes that it's a forested lot, which it isn't. So the conclusions there are basically not valid. And as I said in my comments, which are in writing, and I'm not gonna read them because you got them. There needs to be something. I think part of this subdivision should include some kind of screening to bring that lot back to some kind of conformity with the surrounding lots, especially when you got conservancy land right next door. You have Francis Perkins right next door. Everything else is forested. So whatever there, I think it's reasonable to ask that there be some screening done as part of the as a contingency for granting the subdivision. And I think Kathleen actually mentioned she did plan on planting some trees at some point.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna read it real quick. I think out loud. The proposed subdivision will not have an undue adverse effect on the scenic or natural beauty of the area, aesthetics, historic sites, significant wildlife habitat identified by the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife or the municipality, or rare and irreparable natural areas, or any public rights for physical or visual access to the shoreline.
You know, I think it falls under the visual.
Well, the question is, does the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife have any standards?
they identify stuff, but I don't, I was
About-
checking, I don't remember seeing anything.
Scenic, natural beauty, of the area, aesthetics, historic sites, significant wildlife habitat.
Yeah.
I do have a document that was a part of my application that did address that. The wildlife habitat. So this is.
I can find that.
Call it page, but there was a map that. Showed the absence of any identified special habitats.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know. From the state's website, there's nothing, there's no rare, threatened, endangered, essential wildlife habitat, significant wildlife habitat.
Yeah, I don't think they're, well, wildlife. The deer that used to be there aren't there anymore, but I don't think that's probably what they're looking for. This is, I'm focused on the aesthetics of this thing, of the whole feel of the shoreline, of the beauty of this whole place. And to try to keep it that way, I think that's why I'm asking that. I'm not asking that it be completely treed again, because that obviously unrealistic, but some kind of minimal screening, I think, is a reasonable request.
So, I mean, the only thing that I can say on this is on the last part of that first part of that thing. I'll read it all again. The proposed subdivision will not have an undue adverse effect on the scenic or natural beauty of the area, aesthetics, historic sites, significant wildlife habitat identified by the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife or the municipality. So in order for the planning board to place any conditions on the subdivision, we have to point to something in an ordinance of the town that falls under the review of this application that shows it will adversely affect any of those things.
Yeah, it adversely affects the aesthetics.
Yeah.
And that's a judgment call, but you have the power to make that decision.
Well, we have the judgment call when we have a standard to point to. We don't have the ability to make a judgment call based on our own personal aesthetics.
Well, that's why I'm filing comments.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm just saying that the only thing available to us is to say there has to show somewhere a standard relating to aesthetics, if that's the basis of your concern,
Yeah.
that the aesthetics have been impacted and this is the remediation or this is the treatment or this is the standard that goes with that.
The aesthetics have been impacted by the clear cutting. And there should be some effort, some remedy made to bring it back into conformity.
I understand what you are saying.
That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but I need you to understand that the difference between what your opinion is of the site conditions and what's written in the ordinance may not line up.
Yeah, and I think too,
clear cutting
it's clear
didn't
done by a
happen.
previous owner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
You made a runway out of it.
yeah, so,
Essentially.
yeah,
So were there
all I'm
any,
saying is,
so were there any concerns brought up at the time that it was being done with the previous owner and trying to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure?
Oh, yeah.
so I'm not trying to be difficult here. All I'm doing is trying to say that either the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife has to point to a standard that shows one of those things has been adversely affected. Or the town, the municipality has to point to an ordinance or standard within the ordinance that shows that those criteria have been adversely affected
by the subdivision,
by the
not by
the
previous
proposed subdivision.
legal or illegal
The only thing
activities
as far
of
as
the prior owner.
the clear cutting goes, if it comes to find out that it was done, it wasn't followed properly, maybe there was a permit issued, but it wasn't, the harvesting plan was not followed.
Hmm.
Any remedies to what was done would then fall under whoever had held the permit,
Yeah, unfortunately.
which isn't,
Yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with the
It doesn't have anything to do with this application.
subdivision
Yeah,
application.
so, back on item U, where you're talking about land subject to liquidation harvesting, that has language. And another thing I gotta just make clear here, these subdivision standards, they're copied straight from the boilerplate of that the state gives us.
Okay.
We modified them, all these standards, A through U, are directly from the state. So where U places a time constraint, 5 years have elapsed from the date of the landowner whose ownership harvest occurred as part of the parcel. There's no such requirement under J. And so we just have to be careful, and this is one of those things, and I absolutely respect that you're concerned about the aesthetics. I get that. And I'm not trying to belittle or diminish your concerns at all. But I am saying that we're not allowed to impose our own personal aesthetic on an application by creating conditions for that application approval that are personal in nature. That's
So we're constrained by the code.
constrained. If we find something, just a second, if we find something in the code during the review that points to that, and we can say, this is the standard that would cover that, then we can apply a condition based on that standard. Not without it.
Yeah, conditions are meant to ensure compliance with the code that maybe couldn't be clearly proved by the applicant at the time of the review.
Right, yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's your board, you're gonna do whatever interpretation you wanna do. I think this gives you the discretion as a board to make a decision, and you have a rational basis for making that decision, and that decision holds. I mean, I don't read this as saying that it has to conform to some pre-existing statute, this is how aesthetic is aesthetic. I mean, it doesn't, aesthetic can't be defined.
No,
So-
I'm reading the language. I'm reading the language of the thing.
Well,
And
okay,
what
well,
it says, what it does not say is the planning board has the authority based on its own personal aesthetic to apply conditions. What it says is the proposed subdivision will not have an undue adverse effect on blah, 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 blah. As identified by the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife or the municipality. That's what's telling us that we have to have a standard.
okay, well. You're right, if municipality means some ordinance come up that the town of Newcastle comes up with, yeah, you're right.
Hmm.
But if it means you have the authority as part of the town of Newcastle to make that aesthetic decision, then I'm right. So I don't know, that's just my interpretation of it. You're obviously the one that's gonna decide what this language means. I see it more broadly than you do.
Well,
Because the town's not gonna make the unique kind of decisions that need to be made in unique circumstances like this one that comes up. That's why the planning board, I think, exists, is to, make sure that things are done in a way that's best for the whole community. So, anyway, I don't, if that's,
I know.
we just.
Let me
cut it off.
offer you a compromise. I will ask the town council to be present at the application review
Okay, sure.
to render a legal opinion. And
That's fine. I'm not trying to get too technical here. I'm just.
No,
I'm just
I understand
how I
it.
read it, that's all.
I understand. I understand. Good, yeah.
Just two things, just for the record, my plans do not involve removing a single tree.
Doesn't sound like there's a whole lot
Yeah.
there.
Well, there's not many, but
Yeah.
at any rate, and secondly, just a question for you, Ray. What are you imagining to be done if it were up to you?
What I would do-
Or if you think you could build a case for the planning board or the council or the town. What is the remedy at this
Well, I
point?
think-
And would you imagine that that would be my responsibility and at my cost?
Well, it would be if the subdivision has that condition in it, yeah. What
And what
my,
were you
what I
imagining?
would, what I would imagine is that instead of having a house sitting on top of a hill with nothing around it, that's just like there, I would do some screening around that. I would do some screening along the property line. I'm not asking,
You and I talked about that. In fact, we said that we would share the cost of
I plan on doing
trees
some screening,
between
and I think you
our
did
two
too.
lots. And at that time, I think also offered that I plan to do that between my two lots also.
Okay,
So is
well,
that all you're talking about?
I'm
It's just a buffer between
I'm talking a
lots,
buffer
You're not
around
talking
the
about
property line.
placing a forest?
So there's two ways to handle this, right?
Yeah.
It can be handled privately
Uh-huh.
as an agreement between the budding landowners. That has nothing to do with the planning board. We obviously have to take action on item J when we do the application review. So I'll be sure to have town council here to render an opinion as to the scope and depth of our authority when it comes to aesthetics.
Okay,
And I'll brief him on that before he gets here.
great.
I think too, when I look at this and I'm thinking of what we're looking at as what the land is now. Because we can't go back to what it was before it got harvested.
Only if it says we have to.
Right. But we're looking at the subdivision as on the land as it is now.
Correct. They have to.
Right, so not what it was 2 years ago,
Correct.
unless something was done illegally, obviously.
Okay,
I think it's-
these are great points. And this is absolutely correct. So thank you for bringing it to the planning board, because yeah, it's a tricky one. All right. So we've identified several things that need attention, where we need clarification from outside departments and resources. So we'll track those down. We'll make sure that we have an updated and completed, as complete as possible application with details posted, noticed, and available on the town website 7 days prior to the commencement of our meeting next month. Anything else? Yes.
Now this is since it's just a pre-application process, correct?
Yeah.
Maybe something that should be looked into or investigated further would be, has there been a wetland survey done? Through the Department of Environmental Protection or Inland Fisheries and Wildlife?
Oh, yeah, we have access to what, have they gone up to the site and actually inventory wetlands? No.
We have maps, there was a map included in my application
and-
that showed the absence of wetlands and.
So just
Yeah.
Which I find.
Small.
just
I-
hold on, let me just short circuit you real quick.
Yeah, go
here.
ahead.
For subdivision review, and this is just what we're talking about, we're doing a lot split. We don't need to know that information. It's when you go and submit an application to build something.
Right.
That's when we need to know.
So there's, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm
But
mindful of that when I'm considering more
Yes.
sites.
You can have a big section of very wet land that you subdivide however you want, as long as it's legally conforming, fine. Until you go to build something. Then we need to know where the wetland boundaries are, if you fall within them, what those regulations mean, and so on and so forth, what your impact's gonna be. And that's the time when those things will come up. So whenever you bring forth an application for building on the first lot that you want to build on, that's when those issues will happen to be addressed. Good question, though. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the rough. In my interpretation, rough wetland inventory, the National Wetland Inventory, which shows. General wetlands. It's not super accurate, but requiring applicants to go and do wetland delineation is also not something that happens. That's not. Site plan review maybe, but unless you're going through site plan review, it's usually not something that's asked of applicants.
Another thing I did see, the Department of Environmental Protection, labeled the area as having, oh, what was it here? It was a, rare animal habitat. And I just thought that should be addressed as well.
Where
Did you
did
say
you
that?
see?
Rare animal habitat,
And where did you see that there's?
the GIS model on the Department of Environmental Protection.
I
That's what we had also. but
yeah,
what
I didn't see it there, but you know,
The only thing that falls under for subdivision review is that same item J, where we're talking about aesthetics.
Yeah.
That's also talks about having undue adverse effect on significant wildlife habitat as identified by the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. So that's the only component that will be reviewed under subdivision. Different for building a structure.
I just thought it would be worthy of bringing up, that's all, I'm sorry.
no, I think that's fair because. But I'm not seeing it on the beginning with habitat where. Granted, state's website and data is not always up to date. So if you've got something from somewhere more accurate. Yeah, I just see that there's tidal waterfowl, wading bird habitat in the mudflats, but that's this, so.
Okay. Great. Anything else? Any other concerns? Any other public comments?
No, because we'll actually get a chance to do this again in November, is that correct?
You will, absolutely.
And if you have everything that's written, I mean, I'm just gonna carry Ray but if you got anything that's written that you want to submit, you can do it anytime.
Yeah, and if you're not gonna be here, you said you might not be here.
I might not be here.
So if you're not gonna be here and you want something read, just get it to Michael. I'll make sure he or I or somebody reads it out loud so it's recorded.
Does anybody ever connect by Zoom or had noticed that was an option?
Yeah, you can connect by Zoom, sure.
Okay.
You can set that up.
Yes. I think I can.
Yeah.
I gotta get the password, you know.
I got to take the guy.
Yeah. Kevin can help.
It should be, it is possible.
Yes.
During COVID, we did it all the time.
Yeah.
Right, and we do it for select board meetings, so it's possible. Yes, Kathleen.
Do you know the date of the next meeting?
Yeah, I can do it.
Usually the third Thursday.
20, November 20.
20. November 20,
Thanksgiving next week.
next week. Yeah,
7th. Yeah.
It's the last Thursday of the month.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
It's always the last
Yeah.
Thursday.
And why does it feel so late, right?
Because sometimes it's only,
Yeah, I guess so.
it's like 30 days, we're Thursday, 27th this week, like.
First day of the month then.
Yeah.
Keep it as early as the 20th.
Right.
And no, earliest is the.
Yeah, right. Okay. Michael, do you have anything else?
No.
Oh,
I have one question that we talked about ordinance stuff needing updating, and I'm wondering if there's any desire to have like a working group. It can only be maybe 2 people.
I'm sorry, I was just talking about the Presell Mill meeting.
Oh, no, nothing for that.
I'm
Okay.
gonna close the Presell Mill
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Continue.
Okay. Is that something that you may or may not want to do? Like to work through some of ordinance roads thing, anything like that? I can do it alone, but it's always good to like.
I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think that it needs to be addressed sooner rather than later. And so, yeah, if you want to start the ball rolling, bring us something to review in a workshop.
Yeah.
Then that would be, I think, a really good way to get
Okay.
started.
I guess what I
It doesn't have to be complete.
yeah, what I didn't want to do was go like have to wait have one review a month basically, then it just drags out. I'd rather like sit down, 2 people, we can go back and forth and and then it's like, great, come back to the planning board, everybody can look at it and that way at least a few more eyes have been on it.
Yep. Is that generally agreeable?
Is there a benefit in creating a list and prioritizing what should happen before what?
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's still.
Create a
stuff
priority
that-
list that says our number one concern with ordinances is driveways or whatever.
Mhm.
And then move down the list to less important. Just a question.
Yeah,
We had, we've had, a list of priorities in the past.
yeah. Well, and there's stuff that I'm working up to, like we need to get the definitions finished and also the admin stuff, which, so. Okay, well, we'll put it out there, so.
That's great. I'm gonna count that as 5B. So are there any other 5A, are there any other public comments about any other topics? Seeing none. Do you have a planner's report for us or are you good to go?
I'm good, that was my plan.
Great, then without objection, meeting adjourned 8:28.
Here it is. I asked you,
Thank you.
about the